Hello. What is up, friends?
I'm playing Lazily Nizumi now, and there are so many options.
Yeah, you know what? There is so many options. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Anyway, any questions, homies?
Hi. I do have a question for you, AJ. It's about edge control. Do you have any tip about balancing your edges? I mean, the hard edges and the soft ones.
Do I have any tips on how to balance the hard and soft edges?
Yeah.
Um, that's that's actually not a very easy thing to teach. Hold on just a second. I'm like getting distracted with this awesome stuff. Let me do. Wow, that's crazy. Uh, so when it comes to soft and hard edges, one of the things that people need to recognize whenever they're working with that, it's all about balancing your actual tool. Meaning that, a lot of times people feel that, their soft edges are too soft or the hard edges are too hard. It's just because they don't balance it. They just push hard the whole time and they can't do anything else. Like this is the opacity that they can only paint at the whole time. And then they only stick with like a few brush sizes and they just kind of do this and then they go this. It's just constantly constantly imbalanced.
Mhm.
And a lot of it is just people are just don't want to practice just being able to paint with like a softer push on the pen versus like pushing super hard. Right. This is me at my here. Let me use the standard. This is me pushing pretty lightly. Right. I can get to this like this is like pretty much as light as I can go, and then this is as dark as I can go. Right. And there's a
Yeah.
there's a pretty big contrast between those two. Right.
Mhm.
What I
Sure.
find a lot is that students, whenever they try to do the same thing, their softest is like right there, and their hardest is right there,
Okay.
and that's a problem, right? I mean, just try it right now. Like try to, and then manage that while you're actually painting, you know,
Mhm.
because then once you get a value, then you push as hard as you need to get the hard shapes in there, and if you want to get the soft shapes in there, you push lightly, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's nothing. There's nothing I can say really to give that to you, right? It's clearly a
Mm.
practice thing. Like you have to just practice that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And how do you practice that? It's just do what I just doing right here, and just constantly trying to paint hard and soft edges. And when the smudge tool came around with like some abilities to actually adjust it, like with scattering strength, then I use that a lot. And there's also mixer brush, but mixer brush is a whole different thing, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's really just about practice makes perfect, right?
Yep. Sure.
And then yeah, using the airbrush too, and like all this stuff is really helpful. I usually use the airbrush in very large strokes, and then I'll come back and just erase.
Yes. Yeah.
There's also like strategy of like using. Oh, hold on, let me. I think someone's messaging me. Actually, never mind. Um, There's also a strategy that I found that you can use to overlay layer or overlay brush. You can do like an overlay layer,
Mhm.
and then you can basically paint an airbrush as long as the background is white.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just practice, lots of practice, and knowing the difference between when you should make your edges hard and soft. And usually for me, it's just all about what forms do I want people to look at.
Mhm.
That's really what it comes down to.
Nice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's
Sure, thanks.
there's no quick answer to it though. But there is an answer. It's just tons and tons of just brush work. It's a mechanical
Practice.
thing. Yeah, I also like whenever people like, I'm using Lazy Nizumi now for hard surface stuff, but like for character stuff, I never really needed to use it for. It's really just like if I want to design like a more practical thing.
Mhm.
Um, but for instance, like this helmet, like if I'm doing a helmet or whatever of a character design, like I don't really need to because a lot of the perspective is very shallow. It's not very intensive. I can manage it. But like um, designing perspective, like drawing a vehicle in perspective, that's something that I'm interested in. All right, put the horizon line up here. Just gonna put this crosshair so that I know where the horizon, where I can put that back on if I need to.
Mhm.
But yeah, like designing, like let's say a spaceship. What I don't like is that it's super stuck to the grid. I wonder if I can make adjustments to that. Scripting. What one does. Still pretty snappy. I'll have to mess around with this. But I do want it to snap. It's so weird. It's not letting me snap at all to the... Oh, because I had to... Alright, let's see. So designing... Perspective is pretty nice. Problem is I can't do curved lines. So I have to mess around more with Lazy and Izumi about that. But I need to look at what I'm drawing too. I just started realizing. This is crazy how awesome this is. But anywho, yeah, soft and hard edges. I don't really worry too much about because I put a lot of practice in that, you know. But one of the best tools to get better at it that I did was just to basically practice it all the time. Remember I was talking about how I would just do these studies behind my desk or behind my files and stuff,
Mhm.
so my bosses and stuff wouldn't see it. It's kind of like the point I'm trying to make, is that like, if you are constantly practicing stuff like that, you'll get better and better at it. wonder if I use Lazy Nizumi as a tool to start a sketch, and then from there, yeah, that's pretty cool. Definitely some environments now. Anyway. I want to do a character. Any other questions?
I'm just watching the demo personally.
It's all good.
Not, not having any question.
Anyone else? Oh, heard somebody unmute. These drugs, man. Drugs work. Do drugs, y'all.
So you mentioned earlier what your goals for your 3D are.
Yeah,
Do you have
totally.
any specific goals you're going for with painting?
I already have a lot of those goals solved, but a lot of them are very similar. Quality and speed.
Hmm.
I think now it's trying to do more color painting, which I did a lot of already. Uh, but also just like speed, quality. It's like always on the forefront of that. Yeah, I think for me, having like goals and ambitions to what you want to do with your work, it's pretty important. So you have something to constantly gauge, like whether you're accomplishing it or not. Like I can tell if I'm doing something quickly or not, if it's any good.
Yeah.
I think for me in the beginning too, I didn't really have a lot of stuff in mind. Like it wasn't that clear to me either in the very beginning. It's something that evolved over time. You know, as I got more and more uh, opportunities and more time, I started looking at like what I could do to improve the things I was already kind of naturally going towards. But like I encourage my students now because I have that foresight. Like I'm like, hey, work on your work on your skills that you want to improve upon. Don't just do stuff that I do. You know, it's all about knowing how to work within your means and knowing your own uh, boundaries and the things that you want to overcome. Yeah, but specifically for painting right now, there's no real agenda. Because I'm pretty good at it, right? Like I've spent a lot of time becoming good at it. So it's really 3D that's a big problem that I want to keep working towards become better at that. Specifically sculpting and building a good workflow around that. And even more specifically, like character design. I still love myself some good old character designs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried different types of brushes and stuff like that, often, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the kind of work that I do.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, 3D is on my mind. Becoming a more adept 3D artist. And I mean that in every sense, like someone that actually creates assets as well. Yeah, 3D though, like it's so fun for different reasons. I think a lot of times people are afraid of trying new tools and new software because they feel like they need to get good at the ones that they're not even good at yet, like 2D. Like you guys want to focus on that, right? But I highly encourage people to try and dabble because it's like you're only going to learn, you're only going to grow when you do that. And it makes you better at all the other tools. Like you start to think about 2D differently when you start messing things in 3D.
Yeah, I'm kind of the way you mentioned, where I just like want to get real good at drawing and want to ignore the 3D. But as soon as I started doing the dailies last week, it's actually real helpful because you can quickly envision how you can put them together.
Yeah, it's not like one thing is going to take skill points from another thing. It's not an RPG, right?
Hmm.
It's real life. In real life, your brain has a larger capacity to store more information. Um, I would definitely encourage you to kind of pick one as your main staple, right? So for me, 2D is that, no doubting that. But I don't shy away from learning 3D here and there, especially if I'm only spending 20, 30 minutes in it. It's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, painting robot heads all day, down for that.
So kind of a off-topic question from that.
Yeah, man.
When you're submitting a portfolio, do you think it's a good idea to include like some of the iterations we've been doing, or would you
Absolutely.
maybe? Okay.
Absolutely. That's kind of why we do them. To show people how you think. They want to know that you're not just you just paint really cool pictures. They want to also know that you can iterate, design, and make changes. Some artists are really good at just painting one or two pictures, but it takes them like a week or so, and they're happy with it. They don't make changes. And sometimes they're really good, but it's not conducive to like a work environment to have someone that's like that. It's really stickler to that. Not all artists are like they can paint one really good picture or feel are this way, but it's just they want to know that you can think beyond just one drawing, that they can work with you. And showing iterations and process is one of those tools to do that in your portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not bad to have like stuff like that in your portfolio.
Awesome. Well, this class will give us some good stuff then.
Yeah, totally. You want to kind of show like the process of how you evolve those designs. Yeah. So this brush is like a mixture between soft and hard. It's a lot of fun to paint with. But it's like I'm more on the soft end of the spectrum. So it makes it very difficult sometimes to sharpen my edges. So that's why I like to mix it up. Yeah, see, trying to do this in 3D would be really, really hard, right? Like really, like at this same pace. So knowing that is a big deal. But also thinking about how to paint something in 3D or try to create a design in 3D. There's like a whole agenda, different agenda to it. For instance, like the creature stuff that I was doing, like the thumbnails, like that is important because it's like, if it's approved, then I can just go ahead and do the detail version and then just start to create the 3D asset, you know, which is pretty powerful. Versus just like this, which is great. It's good if we want like something quick, like just ideas, you know. I think this works out perfectly for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm guessing whoever's on the 3D team kind of loves you if you can send them that asset.
They might not, because I might do some of their creative work. Because
Yeah.
for some of them, that's like the fun. It's like to then take this and try to sculpt it and make it a reality. You understand?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So it's a little bit of win-win. I think it works better if you're on a smaller team. Yeah. But you know, like, let's pop up 3D code for a little bit. I'm trying to marry the two, like design and ZBrush and then 3D coat. But with like 3D coat, it's just so easy. What's going on here? Get your activated 3D coat. See, I'm in ZBrush mode right now. Just annoying. Let's do something shiny. There you go. So I keep pressing, keep pressing the wrong buttons because I think I'm in ZBrush. So it's a problem. I'm jumping back and forth in different software. It's not such a big problem in like Photoshop to ZBrush or Photoshop to 3D Cut. It's ZBrush to 3D Cut because they're like the kind of same tool. But like with this, I spent a lot of my time trying to really master the hard surface aspect of this. Right, it's pretty quick. And for me, the first 2 weeks was a struggle to make, pretty 3D assets or 3D designs. But now I'm getting better and better at it, especially in 3D Coat. Then I can do stuff like this. then do some amazing stuff like this. Whoops. What was the... yeah. It's not doing it. Objectify the hidden. Here, let's do this again. Oh, I might have accidentally deleted it. I pressed the wrong hotkey. So let's do it again. What was that question? I saw someone write something. I guess I'm not pressing the right hotkey. What was the hotkey? Alt-Shift-D. That's what it is. Got it. And then Alt-Shift-C to delete hidden. To make sure we get that. And then you go here, you can do cool stuff and just change the materials, which is all fun in games. And what's great is just like this is just so fast, and it's very similar to kind of like the workflow that I usually have with painting, right? It's not too far removed. Like it's very similar to kind of how I think. Do stuff like this. And then have that like a different material too. Sharpen the blades. Get some real epic looking shit.
Okay, just a few minutes too.
Just a few minutes too. And it's just like so easy to manage everything, like even the resolution. Right? And I'm getting a pretty convincing model going on here. And I'm just applying all the tools of the trade that I know how to use as a 2D artist to try to create this interesting looking model design. And the cool thing too, is that even 3D Coat's native renderer is starting to get really powerful, which is good news. because then you can start to just render it even just out of here. You don't have to do much. Oh, that's a lot of depth there. I don't want that deep. And you can start going here and make even dramatic changes to the forms. And you can see the difference, right, Vincent, of like doing something here and basically having a reasonable model in 30 minutes out of here is now a little bit more justifiable, right? Yeah, it's the beauty is it looks good. It's not like just a quick thing. Like, of course, I've been in this software a little bit longer, right? So it's gonna look a little bit better. But my point is that um, that's the thing. You don't want just like, oh, look how fast I did this 3D thing. It's about, oh, it's also very well designed. Oh, okay, I see. No wonder. I was like, what? Talk to me, Vincent. Yeah. And like, I have all these different materials and colors that I use, and you can just keep adding them. Right? Look how cool that is. And now it's not getting as much detail, let's say, as something that I would have done in just 2D, right? But for what I'm getting, it's kind of okay. Oh, I should do Vox hide. Yep, yep. What Vox hide does, which is really cool, is that like you can, it just hides it and then you can unhide it, right? So it's super non-destructive. But in this case, I kind of do want to remix some of this. I'll just move this in. Whoops. Just a little bit. There you go. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, police, the popo. And if you go to the render, like I said, it's not half bad. Right? This is right out of the software. You can mess with the environment light. You can change the different lighting too, the environment of the lighting. You can add your own. So something like this is pretty cool. You could turn it down a bit so it's like really dark. And what I like to do is add my own lights. And you can go in here and look at it. I turned off the real-time render so I can see it. Like where the light's at. Then turn it on. You know what I mean? And then you can just like, what the hell is that? Kill it. You can take a screenshot. Then you can put it in Photoshop, what have you, and then just start working on it here. And for me, this does like potentially 3D code. I can get it to probably bring it up to 70 to 80% of where I need to be. It gives me colors and lights that I probably would have had a harder time finding on my own. Start adding secondary details.
Vincent was asking if there's something like the ZBrush tube brush to make wire and stuff like that.
Yeah, there is. And it's actually better because you can draw in 3D space too. There is one. If you go look, whoops, go back to the original line setup that I had. Is it that one? Or was it this one? I think it was this one. Yeah, snakes and spikes. Like over here, you can see there's like tubes and curves. Curves is kind of like Z-spheres. Snake tool. You can see over here you can get like a chain. Let's say, just draw the chain. Right, spawn. You know, there's just your typical like pipe looking stuff. You know? Stuff that you're looking for. But here's a thing that's even better. There is a sphere tool, and the sphere tool allows you to draw in 3D space. You see that? So you can like design in 3D. And then you can put on steady strokes so that way you can draw straighter lines. Yeah, Drama uses it all the time. You could draw planes with it, which is cool. Right? And it's really good. It's really pretty quick. And like what Jama does, whoa, didn't mean to do that. Here, I'm gonna put all this stuff in here. Again, the fact that you can group stuff together is also a huge win. Anyway, what Jama does is he'll just like actually just sketch up in 3D Coat like a vehicle design or something. Like he'll just sketch it out, which is really clever. And then, he'll go in here and clean up if he needs to get like super sharp edges. But like he could sketch out that 3D shape, right? And then he'll just, because sometimes the things are very large, but he'll just throw it into like the render, just render it out real quick, and just paint over it. Right? Think how like quickly you can design. It's 3D Coat's just so freaking awesome at every level. And even the organic sculpting isn't bad. It's actually, it's just there's a few things you have to add to it, but I truly believe you could sculpt just as good in 3D Coat than you can in ZBrush. It's just I'm just so attached to those tools in ZBrush. That's really I know it's a very clear bias. That makes sense. But again, it's like the statement I made before. Like, well, if I feel that's just the case and I can get something out faster in ZBrush organically, then that's fine. Like, I'll just design the armor here, right? I can always bring the bust in here or the body and just design around it. It's not a big deal. In fact, what I can do in ZBrush, if you go back and look at like the stuff like something like this, right? I can just like design like the armor and everything like at a very, very, very like high concept level. And once I get the head, because this head stuff I can get done in minutes, man. It's crazy fast, right? And so then I can just do that and then bring this into 3D Coat, like the armor and head and all that stuff, and then just design the armor the way that you just saw me designing the armor here, right? Like I'm already thinking ahead, like the future of what I can do in 3D Coat. It's not too difficult. But the fact that you can sketch in 3D is really pretty powerful. Yeah, it's pretty clear to me the benefit of 3D Coat sketching. I mean, if you just go and look at Jama stuff, I wonder if he actually has it on. Like his Learn Squared course. He doesn't have it here. He's not doing it. Yeah, it does like a lot of his stuff is mostly hard surface, but he does even organic stuff. You'll see, and environment stuff is really great. But I'm trying to find the spaceship stuff that he does. Yeah, where's the spaceship stuff? I'll find it real fast. I need to go to his albums. So I'm not gonna be able to find it right away. Uh, it would be this right here. Like this is all kind of like designed the way that I just explained, right? Just using basic primitives and sculpting using the sphere, like drawing with the sphere tool. He pumps out these like amazing things. And a little bit of painting too, of course. Yeah, I wonder if that's the students. But now he's up in Blender. And he said like you can do sculpting in Blender and it's freaking great. So he's like always he's always flying around trying different tools. Yeah, it's really impressive. Just draws it. Oh, it's like what the why is this so slow? But yeah, you can just see how quickly I was able to just put together like potential vehicle design, right? Bam, right? Oh, I have like a different alpha. Yeah, if you guys haven't tried 3D Cut, I'd highly recommend trying it.
Definitely give it a go.
Yeah, so fun, dude. Yeah, and the part that oh, you know what it is? Not even on sphere. No wonder. Yeah, you just design the wireframe, man, for all this stuff. Just like a Megatron face. It's drawn Transformers. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's just like you can do so much. I can go here, like move this out, create a curvature of this. It's just now this is getting pretty heavy. I can feel the heavy. I can feel the weight. Oh, boobs. The boob vehicle. Anyway, yeah, starting at a lower resolution is smart because it's like, yeah, 14 million. That's too much. Let's bring that down a notch. But see how you can change the resolution too, how easy it is? And it's voxels, that's why. We're in voxel mode. Voxel mode allows you to just kind of fly around like that. But yeah, you want to be careful of the resolution. Because if you go too low, if things are too thin, like that piece, it'll create that weird pattern. Which, to be honest, is kind of cool. So I'm actually fine with that. But it gets really weird. But like again, if you're just painting it, like there's no goal of having it looking amazing. You're just trying to have like a start to your design. You can just take this screenshot, right? Copy this. Go back to Photoshop again. Just design around it, right? And it's all about workflow. It's all about doing something that makes sense. Because a lot of people get distracted with like, oh, it should take, this should take days or months. Yeah, I mean, if you're just starting from no knowledge, of course it's going to take you longer, right? So acquire that knowledge, acquire that skill. Be the person that's like, oh yeah, I did this in like 2 minutes. And they're like, what the fuck? How the hell? And it goes back to the whole idea of like, yeah, the sketch, but it took me like several hours to practice and understand how to get it to 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
I should have designed the wheels inside 3D Cut. It looks like garbage. And the axle. Little buggy. That's
Kind of
super.
reminds me of like a shopping cart from the future or something.
It does. Just commit to that idea. It is a shopping cart for the future.
Costco is gonna be so nuts in 20 years.
A little baby in the front, a little turret.
I'm handy on Black Friday.
Yeah, you take this designer here.
Black Friday Death Race 2000. Perfect.
See, it all works together. Shopping cart of death. I know, right? Sick portfolio piece. Nobody puts the shopping carts in their portfolios. You know, there's definitely like shopping carts and like silly shit like this. Not silly, but like simple stuff. Like if you play a game like Call of Duty, they have like just a box, and someone had to concept that box, and someone had to model that box. You know what I mean? And you don't see a lot of that stuff in people's portfolios. I even made a joke about like just making a portfolio of just a concept of just random shit, just like simple stuff. I definitely will get tons of jobs. I'll never go out of work. It's a badass shopping cart though, right?
Do people feel bad when they get assigned, like, do the box, do like the random garbage in the street?
No,
Or is that
because
just like,
it's usually accompanied by other cool stuff. It's not like just a box. Like when I was working at Sony, like I did plenty of like boxes, and just like assets that just need to be made, right?
Mhm.
But it wasn't like the only thing. Like
okay,
I would work on like a character alongside. It's just because it's so easy. It's like you could do that with like everything else. So I don't teach you guys just drawing boxes. It's just kind of like if you can design like a full character and a prop, like you could definitely design like just a simple box. For instance, I worked on like on a shield design for like almost 2 months, but like I was also doing characters and stuff with it.
okay.
Yeah, badass shopping cart.
So I think one of the problems I have when I'm working is like trying to get like a good level of like quality and finish is I lose focus really easily on my work. And
Sure.
then it feels like, half an hour later I look and I feel like I'm just like pushing colors around and like erasing little squiggles but not really getting much done.
Yeah, time yourself, man. That's what I've told many of the others. Like it's no different for you. If you get distracted, then don't let your time just run by. Like have a timer so you can see that you're getting distracted.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as you start using a timer, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Um, you can ask anyone else. Like Lindsay, are you still in here? Did she leave? Because Lindsay's one of those people who started using timers and she got a lot more stuff done. Yeah, like you use timers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, timers.
Yeah, I feel like you get like the bulk of what you're supposed to be doing done first
Yep,
and not fixated on details.
yep. That's kind of my point. Just like using a timer is a gauge of what you're doing with that time. Because if you're just not timing yourself, yeah, you're going to be noodling away for several hours, and then next thing you know, you're like, oh, what the? I didn't get anything done.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, like timing yourself is super important. For instance, I should have been timing myself, but now I got a shopping cart. I'm actually really cool with this. I'm okay with this design. I'm gonna delete all the other stuff in behind. All the other drawings behind are worthless. This is gold.
Whoa.
shopping cart of the future. Anywho. Hope that helps you guys. This is one of the best demos I've ever done. You guys should feel privileged. I should put another $100 on the price tag of the class just for this one demo.
Maybe you can put it on Gumroad as a video.
Yeah.
So like lazy Nezumi would be like a good thing to use for those like tires, huh?
Oh, if I wanted to
Getting
get like
those.
perfect ellipsis, yeah, absolutely. Right now, I don't really care, but like absolutely, I would use it. But to be honest, if I knew I was going to put wheels on it, I would just do it in 3D and then use lazy Nezumi to kind of stay on track. You know,
That makes a lot of sense.
because like why try to draw even just design it in 3D? It's just going to be better. You know, like I can just like pop in a cylinder and then be done with it, right? Like once you go to primitives, you can like pop in a cylinder, you know, like this or something, and just apply it and then move it around, you know? And then you can like sculpt on it and design it and make the tire look badass too. So I need to get better with adding primitives too. You can just like grab models and be able to put them in quickly. I think you can just, I wish you could just drag and drop. I hate the fact they have to apply it. I wish I could just put it in like right away. But I mean, it's not too big of a problem, to be honest. It's just, I just need to build a better workflow. So for instance, I need to put a hotkey for enter. So that way, whenever I go in, I can just press the hotkey real quick and enter it in. And then I have to also make, I thought I made a hotkey for making a new layer. Let's find out. Yeah, Control W. So I already have a hotkey for that, right? So I'll just go Control W, grab this. What the? Not sure why it's over there. That's bizarre. But, you know, be able to move it around, rotate it, then press the apply button, which in this case I'll press is for A. And then just kind of be able to do that, and I have hotkeys to duplicate it. Right? But what I could do better is like design the whole wheel and axle and everything and then just duplicate it like 2 or 3 times. Well, the problem is these aren't voxels too, so I need to kind of consider that as well. And 3D Code's about to crash, but it's okay. I don't care about it. Demo's done. Yeah. Did a painting and a 3D sculpt all in about an hour's time. That's the power of like tools these days. And if I spend like more than 10 minutes on this, like if I spend an hour on it, I can actually probably make this shopping cart look badass, right? Oh, I use Snagit. Snagit's dope. It's a great tool for teaching too, because I can just like take a screenshot, copy it, paste it wherever, right? And you can draw on it too. You can be like, you know, this, and then you just hit copy, and then you can just go to Skype and just paste it into the chat. It's really great. Good tool. And you can record video, you can do all kinds of stuff. But I use it for mostly for teaching. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you guys learned a lot. Highly recommend you guys learning 3D Coat or ZBrush or any real 3D program. There's a bunch, actually. There's even more. I feel like VR is starting, like I think in the next 2 to 3 years, VR will be pretty popular amongst development. I still don't think it'll be snagged amongst the consumers until it's like you can wear sunglasses and it's VR. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the only time, or like if you, like Samsung has the right idea, like using your phone, something that's not wired into like a fucking mega machine, you know, like something that's super easy, something super light. PlayStation, I think, is on the right track too, but for consumers. But I think the next step is just to create like creative tools, You know, I think that's the place where the demand will be high. Like if I can do this all in like 3D space and really see the size of the cockpit and design it in the speed that I was doing with 3D code, it'll just be unmatched. Imagine like modeling and doing everything in actual 3D space, you know? And there's an opportunity there to simplify it, you know, simplify the tools and modeling kit so that anybody can jump in, and it's really just now about fundamentals of like design and understanding of that kind of stuff versus like knowing how to extrude properly, right? Like all that kind of stuff that people had to learn. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the demo. I'm not saving this at all, so you guys will only see this in the, actually, no. I'll post it on Facebook. It'll be archived there. I'm not going to save this. Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys over the weekend. This is the last week that we're going on to, so really work your best, because the only feedback you really will get is on Tuesday, because Thursday of next week is really going to be the last day, you know? And I'll give you feedback on some final notes in the demo, but you know, overall, I'm looking for you guys to try to push your best and try to get some portfolio pieces done by the end of this week, next week, if not the following week. I usually give people about a week to kind of work on their stuff, but we won't have class, that's all. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Hang tight, hang out with each other. Use the Discord. I know some of you have been doing that, which is great. I'm really happy about that. Very proud of that. So keep it up. Peace out, y'all.
Thanks.
See you.
Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to watch more in the future. If you like the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you like this content, you can go to my website, robotpencil.net, where you can find mentorships, tutorials, and a Patreon to get more exclusive content. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next videos.